I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for making a little bit of your evening part of this chapter meeting that we're going to have today. We have myself, Esteban. I'm the vice president of the chapter. We have Eve, who is the treasurer. We got Mike, who is our special guest today from the Performance Center, and we have Paul, who's one of our governors. Martin is overseas, so he's not going to be joining us today. That's why I'm taking his spot to drive this one today, but I hope I can do as good job as he's done in the past ones. You guys can confirm you're seeing my screen, right? Presentation?
Yes.
Okay, so, and just so you guys know, I believe this is being recording, so we can later spread it out and have the people be able to review it when they have an opportunity. So a little bit of what we want to talk about today is this partnership that we're working with the BMW Performance Center. Thanks to Mike, we had a couple good conversations during the couple past weeks. We wanted to bring a couple of benefits to the M chapter members, and we wanted to present that today in conjunction with having Mike talk to us a little bit about what he does in the Performance Center also. So we have a couple slides that we're going to walk through here.
And we'll be using the Q&A feature. If anyone has questions, you can type your questions in the Q&A, and we'll be watching that.
Definitely. Thanks for that, Eve. So who are we, right? There's a lot of people probably that are in the meeting right now that are M chapter members, but some might not be. So we're currently at 423. I checked this morning. Pretty much a new chapter started months ago. 500 signatures got the chapter going, and so far we have 420 members, which is great. We've been growing pretty strongly. You can see our mission here, right? It's bringing together M car enthusiasts. We want to promote the M awareness with events and fellowship across the members. We also want to assist the local M groups, right, that are by promoting their events and providing insurance to these events that we're going to do locally. So that's part of our group. If you notice here, we have a board, but we also have chapter governors. So they're going to help us do events pretty much around the entire United States. And again, it's to provide a centralized location to be able to find information about the events and the topics that are interest for the M enthusiasts. As you can see, we have chapter board. Like I said, it's Martin is our president, myself, the vice president, Eve is our treasurer. We do have a vacant spot for secretary. I think if you've seen some of our emails, if anyone is interested, please reach out. We can use all the help that we can be offered right now. And like I said, we have a set of governors, Dave, Doug, Benji, Nick, Addison, and Matt. I'm not sure why Paul is not on that list, but Paul, we kind of dropped you off of that list, but we want to make sure that we have people across the United States that can help us do some of the events. So be on the lookout. If you are in a region where you see your governor's name, reach out to them so you can get in touch with them and see how you can participate in some of the events that we're going to be doing locally. So talking a little bit about the partnership, right, from the M Performance Center, we talked with Mike, and some of the things that the Performance Center does that a lot of people don't know about is they do what they call Performance Center delivery. I myself was able to do 2 deliveries of cars that I ordered at the Performance Center, and it's a great opportunity, and I'll let Mike talk a little bit more about that. But some of the benefits that Mike has been able to work is that when you go and do a Performance Center delivery, you'll get a nice gift from the Performance Center. You got to mention that you're an M chapter member, and they'll be able to give you one of those gifts just for the chapter members. And we're also going to have a 20% off retail driving events, which typically you have 15% for when you're a normal BMW CCA member. But Mike has been able to get us 20% if you are actually an M chapter member. Mike, if you want to talk a little bit about that, the performance delivery, right? This is one of the things that the Performance Center offers to people that are buying brand new BMWs.
That's correct. I'm based in Greer, and currently deliveries are only done in Greer, not at our thermal facility. But, you know, we had a young man in to pick up an M2 from Los Angeles 2 days ago, and he's like, hey, it's a great opportunity to see the Performance Center, and also he always wanted to drive across the country. So he flew out. Normally he'd have to ship the car back or drive it back, and was going to tour his way across the country. But it's been very popular. We've had people from virtually every state, I think, in the U.S., including Alaska, Puerto Rico, and believe it or not, Hawaii. There's no additional charge. You can do Performance Center delivery for any model that's sold in the U.S. It involves a night stay at the Marriott the night before for you and a guest, a nice dinner. On the day of delivery, you get a tour of the factory and the museum, they are open again now for factory tours. And about 2 hours in a car like the one that you're going to pick up. And then we also, very importantly, we have our delivery specialists go through the car with you in detail so that you maximize the enjoyment of the car and make sure you understand everything about it. Speaking of deliveries, tomorrow we are delivering our very first M2 CS. And it's a beauty. It's an M car I haven't had a chance to drive, so I'm actually going to jump in, do a little driving for that delivery program. Maybe I can twist a guy's arm and drive it a little bit.
Yeah, you should try to convince him to show him how capable the car is.
Yeah, people, and I know obviously the M chapter members are, and it's great. I think that you guys are launching this new chapter because it will just augment the other efforts that the car club is doing. But to have a network of such enthusiasts, I think is really good. And, I look forward to the partnership that we formed and to continue to do more events down the road. I enjoy driving with all the members and the people that come in, but, the M people typically are pretty close and near and dear to my heart. So there's a lot of things we can do, and there's a lot of special events we can plan. But, kind of specifically back to the delivery program, we see it day in and day out. People just really enjoy it so much, and especially if you haven't had a chance to drive an M car on the track, M car or not, it gives people a greater appreciation for why they purchased their car. The luxury, the handling and responsiveness, that could be enjoyment of driving, but also safety. So it really adds a lot, I think, and gives you a better feel for the value of the car.
No, definitely. And like I said, I've had the opportunity to do it twice, and I think it's a great experience. Anyone buying a brand new BMW, it should be something that they should put on their list to go and get the car delivered at the Performance Center. The staff there, everyone is great. I mean, they make you feel at home. I love the SUV portion. So a lot of people like myself, I went out to pick up a car, and I wasn't aware that they put you in some of the new SUVs. And you guys have a little road course there, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes, we have our original upper track that opened in '99, and then about 12 years ago, we built the lower track. We have a Laguna Seca type corkscrew leading down to that track. And of course, for the SUVs, whether you're getting an X5 or not, we always take everybody off-road in the off-road course for the X models. And who knows, you might have a guy that has there to pick up an M3 and he loves the X5 so much, maybe gets one of those too. It does happen.
Yeah, that's true.
And additionally, if you haven't been to the Greenville area, I have to brag on it a little bit. It's a kind of a thing where you could come in to pick up your car, maybe spend a night or two in the region. Downtown is really fantastic, and close by we have Asheville, we have Charleston, but Greenville in itself is a great destination. We have people that come in from all over the world, literally, and they rave about the area. So great place to visit.
I mean, like you said, right, the part of the program includes setting you up at the Marriott Hotel, which is, it's wonderful. It's beautiful. The place that it's set up. You do get transported around in a brand new X5, because that's what I had. And if you want to go to downtown and have a nice dinner, they will take you and they will pick you up. So that's definitely a nice perk that the program has. So let's talk a little bit about the MX1 event. This is an event that was supposed to happen, I think it was back in October, got postponed by COVID. It's going to be held now in April. And this is going to be a big event that we're hoping that the M chapter has a nice participation in it. MX1 is to, like it says here, to celebrate everything BMW. There's going to be a special highlight of the M models and the X vehicles. And it's more than just one day, right? It's like talking to Paul a little bit. We wanted to make sure that people understood it's a whole weekend of fun. And as you can see, the schedule includes a couple events on Friday, including the foundation and including events at the Performance Center. Saturday, they're going to have pretty much similar events for people that come in maybe on Saturday and can't make the whole weekend. But also there's going to be a Cars and Coffee that's going to be held at the CCA headquarters. If you haven't been to the new CCA headquarters, it's amazing. It's a beautiful building. It's set up in a right next to, I believe it's a lake in the back. It's beautiful. And they're going to have a Cars and Coffee there. Anyone that went to Oktoberfest maybe had the opportunity to be able to see it last year. So it's a really nice place. So we are having our M chapter day at the Performance Center on the Sunday. So closing the event, we will have an event that Mike is helping us put together that's going to be specific for the M chapter. So this event, Mike, can you talk a little bit about it?
Sure. It's a special program we put together for the chapters several years ago, and we have Paul on with us tonight, and we've had a lot of chapters come in to do it. The National Capital chapter, which Paul represents, they've been the largest participant. They usually bring 2 to 4 groups down every year and do this program with us. It's a full day, and the guys who've been there before will tell you we keep you very busy driving the cars. We have 4 driving events in the morning, we have lunch, and we have 4 more in the afternoon. Now, that program being in April, I don't know exactly the model lineup. Usually we're going to have 3 or 4 M models. Most likely, most assuredly, I think that we'll have the new M3, M4 for you to drive. Probably we'll have the M8 and also the M2. So we do a variety of things. In the morning, we'll do some skid pad work. If you can drift it a little bit, we'll let you do that. We do handling work. We do cornering drills and braking drills. And then in the afternoon, we also drive a large portion of the upper track and lapping. We do timed events. We do an event called the Rat Race, which is on our upper skid pad. We turn it into an oval, and it's all about efficiency, right? If you're efficient in the way you manage the car, the grip, the tires, the shocks, the steering, the braking, and the throttle, because up there, that's one event we turn the stability control off. So to be a fast driver, you have to be a good manager, and you're managing the grip of the tire. So it's a fun exercise, but also, like everything we do, it's loaded with educational content. And we are serious about having people learn while they're there, but we're very, very serious about having a blast. That's the big thing for us. And it's a full day. I mean, Paul's been, he can tell you, it's almost like we're pushing you to get you back in the car because we're driving a lot. It's action-packed. And I hope that everybody with the M chapter will sign up quick. I think it's probably going to fill up fast. It is limited to 32 people. And so if you haven't been to one, I urge you to come in and drive with us.
Yeah, I've done this M chapter day or M club day several times in the past. I can tell you get more than enough seat time throughout the day. And it's always a lot of fun too to flog someone else's car. Oh wait, did I say flog? Use someone else's car, their gas, their tires. There's been plenty of times where I hear on the radio we're not going fast enough, and to be able to do that with the current M fleet is really a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a treat. And I mean, like you guys can see here in the presentation, the price of this is going to be $750. I think it's very, very, very competitive compared to some of the other events that I've been to and I've seen in the past. So like Mike said, I think we're going to have 32 spots. We are going to open the registration, I believe, after today. Is it, Paul?
Yes, it'll be
So,
open tonight after the event.
and then we are giving M chapter members first come, first serve, right? So we're going to have a set amount of time in which M chapter members are going to be able to do this before we open it up to general public. So make sure if you want to have be part of this fun that you sign up as quick as you can. If you do need more information after the presentation, you can reach out to any of us in the emails that we always have available. Paul and I are planning on actually doing caravans. So I'm coming from Florida. Paul, you're located at?
I'm in the DC area.
So Paul and I are figuring out a good way that we're going to start caravans from north and from the south. And we'll probably have, if there's enough people maybe from the Atlanta area, see if we can do a stop around there. But the idea is coming in as a group drive from different parts of the north and the south to be able to meet up and drive together into South Carolina for this event. So as things continue to develop closer to the event date, be on the lookout. We're going to have it on our social media, and we're going to have information out to the chapter members so they can understand where the meeting points are going to be, the times, and all the details that we're going to release for that.
So we're getting some Q&A here. So let me just jump in with a couple of them. So a couple people had asked how we can register for the M event. So hopefully everyone within CCA gets a Tuesday Bimmer Life email. And this week, well, yeah, obviously it came out on Tuesday. So if you go back to that email, there's actually a write-up in there on how to sign up for this event. Registration will be through Motorsport Reg. So there is a link on there that you can use to sign up. So hopefully we'll get some folks to sign up tonight. There's also been some questions about in-car instruction. Mike, how do you guys handle with COVID today for the instruction for M Chapter Day?
Well, in a matter of fact, we had a one-day M school today. Maximum we would ever do would be 18. We had 16 people in it. And you know, if you do the chapter program, you have the option. You can ride along. You know, you're paired up in the car. You don't have to be. Hopefully by then, hopefully we'll maybe turn the corner on COVID, but who knows? But we have done these programs during the pandemic with spacing. We have additional room in the cafe. The meeting rooms are larger to allow spacing. And as far as in-car instruction, quite honestly, we would normally do that on the skid pad, but we have gone the route of the German training. The Germans have always believed that skid pad training, they do it externally. They watch the instructor, watches from outside and gives direction over the radio. So that's the way we've been doing it during the pandemic. The Germans have always said that's the best way to do it. Typically on skid pad, we usually are in the car, but now we are doing it, for now anyway, the German way, and it seems to work out fine.
Okay, good. Two more questions and we'll continue on. A West Coast version of this M Chapter Day. So yes, that is in the talks. We're looking at possibly doing one in December. So if you guys have an interest in doing this type of an event out at Thermal Racetrack, then please let us know if you guys are interested, and we'll try to set that up this year. And then for those who don't, for some reason, get the Bimmer Life emails on Tuesday from National, then you can always go to bimmerlife.com, and there'll be several stories that you can read through. There'll definitely be one this week that mentions our M Chapter Day. All right, let's move on. That's
So
fine.
yeah, so just in the same line, right? Definitely going to start at the Sakarana facility because I mean it's the closest and it's right now where Mike is looking at. But we definitely want to have something also at Thermal. So we are, like Paul said, looking to see if we can fit a similar event like this near the end of next year. So again, be on the lookout. If you are interested in that, reach out to us so we can have track of the people that are interested, so we can reach out also. Something new that is definitely something that Mike wanted to talk to us and was really excited to let us know about is the BMW M and M4 GT4 experience, which is out of Thermal right now. This is a brand new program, right, Mike? Yeah, I just released really recently.
It is new. We had hoped to really launch it big in March, and then with the pandemic, we've been pushed back a bit, but we're very excited about it. I'm excited personally because, you know, I've been around race cars, I've given rides in race cars, and it's great for people to be able to experience not only an M car, you know, a street car with all the capability it has, but also, you know, a lot of people, they go to the races, they see these cars and they wonder, what would that be like to drive that car with slicks and the arrow of the wing and so forth. And so now with the M4 GT4, this is really kind of the first car that's made it possible. You know, in the past, you have a race car and it would have, you know, a Hewland gearbox with straight cut gears. And if you didn't know how to heel and toe properly and shift the car, you could explode the gearbox in a heartbeat, and they were very expensive. The GTLM cars, you know, they don't have ABS, but this GT4, and this is not a special school version. If you were going racing in the Michelin Cup and to order one, it would be identical to the car you'll be driving. So these cars are user friendly. You know, they sell these cars to be very capable, but also uh, keeping in mind that a large part of the market is going to be the gentleman driver, right? Sometimes you're paired up with a pro, but they've made it easy for the driver. They have things like their paddle shifts, of course, so you don't have to worry about, you know, the straight cut gears. They have ABS. They have even stability control and traction control that you can adjust. So they're very user friendly. They have, in most of the modern cars, race cars, it started the E92 GTLM. It used to be like the E36 and E46 race cars. The seat would be on a slider. So if you change drivers and you need to move it back and forth, it was very convenient. But the reality is it is safer to have that seat stationary. So these cars, to be able to adjust to different drivers, the steering wheel will tilt and telescope, and also now the pedal box moves. And that's the way it's been since the E92 GTLM cars. So it's adaptable. Also, you know, you don't have to be a person with a gazillion track days to drive it. We're offering it to corporate customers. We've received a lot of keen interest in it. You know, it's a unique opportunity to drive a car like this. And, you know, honestly, it'll sound maybe like I'm kind of self-promoting this, but the pricing is, to me, is surprising. A one-day program in the car is based on 15 people. In the morning, you drive an M2 on our handling course. You'll drive an M car on the South Palm or one of the other circuits of the Thermal Club. And maybe I should back up a little bit. At Thermal, we are on the campus of probably the most prestigious motorsport club in the country, Thermal Motorsport Club. So when you go into the facility, if you take the turn to the left, that is our campus exclusively. That's BMW land. If you take a right, you get into the Thermal Motorsport Club. They have 3 different layouts that can be configured, or excuse me, and combined. So you have a total distance of about 4.25 miles, and we have access to their tracks. So in the morning, again, you'll do the M2 handling course. You'll do a skid pad in one of the cars. You'll do driving in an M car on one of the thermal tracks that we're going to use for the M4 GT4 later. in the morning, you are being acquainted with a race car. We're, showing you the paddles and the buttons and, getting familiar with the car. We're fitting you with your racing suit and your helmet. And then in the afternoon, we go back to the track with a GT4. You'll get about 45-minute session in the afternoon in the race car on the track, lead follow. And you also drive an M car again on Thermal's track for a second rotation. You'll do a timed event on the handling course. And we have one other thing that we're working on, probably another skid pad, maybe a figure eight or something. So it's a full day. So the retail to me is I think very favorable. It's $27.95, but of course, currently with the discount that we have for you guys, the M chapter members, 20% off that is $22.36. And I should say that the GT4 program has a camera and data system. So, you get all your hero video and data showing speeds and G's and things like that. It's really trick, and I'm sure that people are going to love it. And I would like to, going forward, kind of my idea at some point when we can get beyond the pandemic hurdle is to maybe, I'll go out and, maybe we do 3 or 4 days of these programs, maybe have some other chapters come in, but I certainly would like to, I think this is kind of, fits perfectly for the M chapter enthusiast, right? To come out and drive the M cars and drive this GT4 race car.
Yeah, I think I've seen them in person at Daytona. It's an amazing machine, and you look at it, and the only thing that looks stock on it is the engine bay. Inside, it's a full cage. I mean, I was asking about the pedal setup because I saw that the seat was fixed, and we thought that it had been fixed for one of the drivers, and the other one had to either have something in the seat to adjust it for them. And they showed us how the pedal box adjusts and the steering wheel, which is amazing. I love how the key is still the stock key, because it still has the stock lane key, and it's like put right on in front of or behind the gear lever, just so no one's running around with a key in their pocket. But I think to me, it sounds like a great opportunity. Like you said, I mean, I've done the M track days a couple of times. You drive the V14, the V13, you drive the M2. But they're all street cars, right? I haven't had the opportunity to be able to get into like a real BMW race machine, and I think this is great. To me, it's great, and I think it's going to be something, like you said, it's going to appeal to a lot of the, especially the M chapter members, right? Because I think being able to get behind a machine like this, it's amazing, and especially on a road course with professionals like yourself guiding us, I think that's even better.
Yeah, I would hope that we could do, going forward, maybe at some point, kind of ongoing programs for the M chapter, 15 people. But aside from that, if you had your own pod, we operate in groups of 5. So if you ever want to come out and say, okay, we're going to take 5 people and join, you can do that too. And, I can arrange all that for you.
Paul, you're on mute, buddy.
I have 2 questions here, Mike, for the GT4 school. Are there any prerequisites for this school, and does the race suit and helmet come home with you? Okay,
so there are no prerequisites, right? And again, we're offering this to corporate groups, right? So, the other side of that, there's no prerequisites. But having said that, it's like any program, right? If we take you to the Nürburgring and we have a group and you're competent and you're moving right along and we don't see any big drama, then we will up the ante, right? We'll go quicker. And the other side of that is, if we have a group that maybe doesn't have as much experience, they want to go slower, we can do that. So we can adjust to skill, no prerequisites. At $27.95 retail, say a $4,000 suit and a $1,500 helmet is not included. But you got to try, right?
No, I mean I think Dwayne was the one that asked that question. So it's Dwayne. The only way you can get it for free is if you're a really fast runner and if you can jump over a high fence. So this is something that we're looking to do sometime next year also, right? Mike, we're shooting to do something thermal.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to. I mean, obviously we got to kind of see what happens with the pandemic, but, maybe just play it by ear, but, we're ready when you are.
Definitely.
So Esteban and Mike, I've been talking about this for a while because I was hoping that we would have already done this with OFES last year. But, we would love to do something like this or the M Chapter Day in Thermal in December, or maybe something like the M4 GT4 school, maybe, maybe that President's Weekend in 2022 would be a good time to come out. But we will definitely work with you to try to see if we can get some dates and see what the demand is for something like this. But these are two great programs that I think hopefully all of our M Chapter members will be able to participate in.
Yeah, I think it's another just exciting thing to add to our portfolio of programs. I enjoy driving cars, but I really enjoy people getting excited, and I just, people love the M cars. The street M cars are phenomenal. Most people that haven't been on the track in one, they're blown away, whether it's, an M2 or heck, if I took you around in the X6M, it's just mind boggling what the cars can do.
Yeah.
And to add a race car to the mix and have people experience that, I think it's something I'm really excited about, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with people.
Definitely. I mean, Paul and I definitely want to keep on working with you. And like I said, Mike, I appreciate you working this partnership with the M chapter so we can get events like this going for our chapter members. So we really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it.
So one more question before we kick it back to you, Mike. Advanced M School, is that coming back to VIR anytime soon?
We are planning on being at VIR in 2021, and I would say it's 95%. I should have dates hopefully in the next 30 to 60 days. Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks.
So we kind of jumped in here, Mike. We talked a little bit about yourself. Maybe some people on the meeting don't know who Mike is. So, I mean, there's a small bio here. Great picture of Mike there, and I think it's a M3 GTLM, was it?
Yes, that's right.
So
yep.
Mike has been a professional BMW driver, and he's responsible of the corporate sales at the Performance Center over at South Carolina. And I mean, you've been racing since 1983. So it's been a while, right? And you've raced in so many different categories of racing over more than 27 years. You started at the Performance Center when it opened back in '99, and you've trained several people, right? You've trained people that have no experience. You've trained people that are probably a little bit race experienced. You've trained people from the FBI and the Secret Service, people that are in charge of taking care of our president. You've received international instruction certifications, all different levels, all across. And I mean, you've been able to also, like that last bullet there, it caught my attention. I love BMWs, but I also am a lover of the old school BMWs. So you've been able to race some of the historic fleet, which I think that's amazing. So with all the background that you have, I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself and how was it that you started in all this?
Well, the time really has flown, but it's amazing the way things have worked out for me. I was born and raised in Greenville. I grew up about a mile outside the city. Started racing, in '83 or maybe just before actually, and thought, well, maybe I'll go to Europe, maybe do Formula Renault, but didn't really have the opportunity, didn't really have the means to do that, and kept doing racing, instructing. Got involved in, sales and sales management to make money, had my own business. I moved back to Greenville to open up a business. And then they opened in '99, and I stopped by right before the Performance Center opened up. and there were some key people there from BMW North America, and I'd been driving the brand personally since mid '80s. So I love the cars. And we were talking shop, and he said, okay, you drive the brand. Started talking a little more. Yeah, race cars a bit. Have you ever taught anybody? Sure, I've taught people to race. How far away are you? I'm 20 minutes. I live in a suburb of Simpsonville. Okay, well, maybe would you be interested in coming by and driving with our guys, and maybe you can do some contract driving. And I didn't really stop by to, to pursue a job. I was curious. And so I said, well, I've got this company, but sure, it sounds great. So I did. And the reality is too, it was when they opened with the launch of the new X5, right? And so they needed some extra people. I did some driving. They saw that I wouldn't kill anybody, at least not right then. So they said, okay, yeah, come on board to do some contract driving with us. So, for 2 years, I'd do a day here, day there. I'd be in my office. They'd call me, hey, we're going to do an M5 owners program next Friday, Mike. It was the E39. Can you come out and drive with us? Sure. So I just really, I love my business, but my heart was with the BMWs and the driving. And then they said, we'd like for you to be the corporate guy. And I said, look, I'll do that, but I want to be a driver first, right? I'm a driver. I don't want to just be on the computer. I want to just be on the phone. And so they said, okay. So I've been there since '99. And yeah, as you can see through the years, I've had a chance to do a lot to training in Germany and, Austria with people from all over the world, and the German crew over there. Some of my fondest memories of driving and training with a great group of people. And I've met people all over the world. Had a chance to drive some really cool cars I never thought I would get to drive. So I started out racing in a really high-tech German engineered car. And that Volkswagen Rabbit was amazing. It was showroom stock C.
Yeah.
The car actually was in its category. It was nationally competitive in SCCA. And, you look back and say, well, Volkswagen Rabbit. The reality is when I was young, I was happy to have that car to race. It belonged to a friend of mine. But looking back on it, it really was a great car because it taught you so much about managing the momentum. You didn't have a lot of power. You didn't have a lot of grip that could save you. So you had to be very precise. It didn't even have a tachometer, right? You had to race it as stock. So data acquisition, that was okay. I came out of turn 5 at Road Atlanta, and on the curbing, I'm doing 55 miles an hour. Next time I come out, I'm doing 57 by the speedometer. I did it better. So that was my data acquisition. And yeah, the car, would reward you if you were smooth and fast. And if you weren't, then you wouldn't be very fast. So yeah, still driving the cars. I've had a chance to drive a really cool stuff from BMW. I never thought I'd get to drive, $1 million race cars, and they entrust them to me. And I've been very thankful for that. And the team at BMW Classic with Tom Plasinski, Tom is a great enthusiast and the perfect guy to be overseeing those cars. He loves them. He loves driving, and he's very knowledgeable about them. And the program is great. And just thankful when we can bring them out and run them, and have people see them and occasionally take rides with them.
It's a beauty just seeing them. I mean, and hearing them. I was able to see and hear some of them running at the Oktoberfest last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the rumble that they still have, and they look great. So
Yeah.
which is the last one that you drove of the classic ones?
That would be Z4 GTLM.
Have you ever driven one of the old school CSLs?
Sure. I haven't driven the CSL in a while, but I have driven it quite a bit. And some people, it's old cars only. Some people it's new technology. I can really appreciate both. The CSL is, it's iconic. It makes the right sound. And by the way, if you were ever on the track, I was I was on the track once in the Alpina 2002, and Boris said, comes along beside me in the CSL, and the Alpina is not that loud. I didn't put earplugs in, but the exhaust pipe exit on the passenger side of the CSL. So he comes beside me. He actually gave me a gesture that I won't mention here, but you can use your imagination. He's a, you know, when he's coming up beside me, he's almost rubbing fenders, and he gives me this gesture. And I look over, and then I get this noise drill straight through my brain. I mean, the noise was unbelievable. So don't ever get caught on the exhaust side of the CSL.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Z4, that might be my all-around favorite car to drive. It makes all right sounds. It's awesome. I'm also a big fan. I haven't driven it much lately, but the E46 M3 GTR, the chassis on that car is fantastic. And I've driven it quite a bit. Maybe that's part of it, but I really love that car. There's not a bad one in the group, though. But, you know, as I was saying, I like the old stuff. And one thing I've always enjoyed about my job is maybe I'm never satisfied. You know, I enjoy the cars currently, but I'm always anticipating, right? And what's coming next and what's coming next. So soon, probably in February, we'll have our new fleet of M3s, M4s. I haven't had a chance to drive it. I'm looking forward to getting in those cars and driving them. So anticipation's always part of it.
Definitely. I think a lot of people are looking forward to that. I mean, it's pretty much the same power plant that some of the X vehicles have. So we know how capable the engine is, and you pair that up with that chassis. So it's got to be a treat to drive.
For sure.
What was your first BMW?
535. I would like to say it was an IS, but it wasn't. So I went to lunch with this friend of mine. He had a 535. This is back in like 84 or 5. And he tended to change cars quite a bit, you know. And so we're going to lunch, and I said, so Stevie, what's the deal? You know, you've had this car for a while. You're hanging on to it. And, you know, I'm looking around. I could tell it was built well. I love the way it, you know, had a rumble to it, and the way the cockpit was laid out. And, you know, he got this kind of goofy grin on his face. And he said, you know, I just love this car. I don't get tired of driving. I said, you like it that much? And he said, yeah. I said, you drive it on the way back from lunch. So I did. And 2 weeks later, I had my own. And, you know, I've been driving BMWs ever since then, since 85.
Which
And
do
it's,
you
you know, it's great to be involved with the product. You don't have to
yeah.
fake enthusiasm for
Definitely.
it, you know? Yeah, it's in the heart.
It's for a lot of people are thinking that you got a dream job, so that's amazing.
Well, I probably couldn't disagree. You know,
Yeah.
I get to do a lot of cool things, and they pay me, and it's people, it's cars, it's places, it's all good.
Definitely. So you told us what was your first BMW. What is your what do you have right now? Do you own any of the new ones?
Well, currently I'm in a 440 Grand Coupe, right? So I'm in that car for a while. Probably be out of it coming up soon. I'm not sure really what I'll be going into. But, you know, I like that car. I drive all the M cars. I drive all the cars from time to time. You know, I never disliked the X models, but I was like, yeah, it's kind of me, you know. But I tell you what, they've made them so good now, the X models too. I really appreciate them and enjoy those a lot. You know, it doesn't have to be an M model, but the M models are staggeringly impressive. But, you know, back to my 440 Grand Coupe, it's nice with the hatch type. I do a lot of cycling, so I can fold the seats down, take off the front wheel, and it goes right in. And yeah, it's a good car. But I get to drive pretty much all of them from time to time. And
Yeah, that's what I figured because you have so many to choose. If you had to choose your favorite out of the newer ones that you've been able to drive lately at the center, which one would it be?
you know, Esteban, I need to come up with an answer because people ask me that all the time, and it sounds like, oh, the guy can't make up his mind, or
Yeah.
he's a company line. You know, he everything's great according to Mike.
Yeah.
It is hard for me to pick one. You know, they each have their own merits. I mean, the
Give me your
M2
top three.
comes to mind.
Yeah, give me your top three then.
Okay. So, you know, the M2 is way up there. The new M8 is unbelievable. I tell you what, when you put the M8 in launch mode, I need to find some way to check this. I don't know if the front tires actually come off the ground at all, but it sure feels like maybe a little bit. It's amazing, that car in launch mode. And, you know, it's so luxurious and quick. I would say the M2's up in the top three. I've always loved the M3, M4. Can I have four of them, maybe?
Yeah.
um, yeah, the X models. I don't know. M2's a big one. The M8 is fantastic. And, you know, maybe a perfect garage is maybe an M2, an M8, and an X5, you know?
That sounds like a nice pairing there. Any other questions? Paul, you've been looking at some of the latest questions. Anything we want to?
Yeah, so here's one. Does the BMW M and M4 GT4 experience qualify for the 20% discount for M chapter members?
It does. So again, the retail price is $27.95. Quick math tells me if you take 20% off that, that is $22.36. That's the M chapter discount.
Good. Sounds good. Mike, what do you think of the 2008 1 Series E88 when it first was introduced? What did you think about it? The 1 Series, 08 1 Series.
Yeah, we talking M car, the 1M?
I think the chat as a whole, right? I think the person asking has a E88, which
E88, yeah.
I have an E82 that actually daily it's a 135. So, I mean, I think it passes that overall. What do you think? What do you think about the
overall? Yeah. So you know, good car, fun car. Like all BMWs, the balance is great. The great thing about the BMWs throughout the line is with the balance, they're never going to surprise you, right? They're not going to, you know, you hear people talk about a car all of a sudden doing something and biting you. That doesn't happen in a BMW. So the 1 Series, you know, it's a stepping stone. Then they went to the 2 Series, obviously in the chassis. It's another generation, but loved it. And you know, my closest experience with it was in the 1M because we had a fleet of them, right? And fun cars. We put a lot of clutches in the cars, you know, because it was just stick only, right? And you know, I used to tell people all the time, hey, you're in the South. We like to fry pretty much everything. We like fried chicken. We like, you know, they fried turkeys, you name it. But we don't, Paul's laughing, but we don't like fried clutch. And we smelled a lot of them. I mean, we had a guy at VIR that just totally, I thought the car was on fire. At first, I didn't realize, and I came up behind it and realized it was clutch. So it's amazing what people can do to a clutch in a car. But yeah, great cars and a lot of fun. And then, you know, of course, we went to the M2 and things keep changing, you know, you know, it's an evolution.
Definitely. So we're almost about 50 something minutes in. Mike, any last thoughts? I wanted to keep it maybe to an hour. Like I said, I appreciate all the time that you took and appreciate all the details about the partnership. Looking forward to working with you and Paul in the future to make sure we bring some really nice events to the M chapter members. Anything you want to close out with?
Yeah, so I'd just like to say thanks for having me on. I do really appreciate it. I love working with all the chapters, and I really look forward to working with the M chapter. And hey, come to Greenville. Let's do some programs out in Thermal. I don't want to disregard the people on the West Coast. We'll do programs out there too. If I can throw in a little solicitation here. So if you're out there and you have a company, we do a lot of corporate programs. And if you want to bring a group in, you know, with your company, I can do that Thermal or in Carolina. So just let me know, you know, if I should give out my email or, you know, you can call me at 864-968-3057 or just drop me an email. It's a little convoluted, but it's Michael, Michael .Renner at BMWMCEXT.com. And
Yeah, we can make
yeah,
we can make your contact info also available if you would like to. I mean,
yeah,
we will send a link to this recording to everyone that attended today also through email. So we can put your contact info there also, Mike, if anyone wants to. And definitely same way that you're doing events for, you know, the chapter, we definitely want to also see the Performance Center and Thermal also grow. So definitely the plug is needed, I think, and more than welcome because of what you're doing for us in the M chapter. So we, like I said, I really appreciate it. Paul, I don't know if you have any last words. Yeah.
Yeah, let me comb through these last few questions to see if we need to answer some of these. Oh, one person asked Mike if you're currently racing.
you know, so I used to have to do a lot of races. You know, it was just kind of I thrive. I had to do it, so I'm a little more casual about it now. If there's an opportunity, the big thing is if the people are fun and the car's good, I might still hop in a race car. I mean, I did a race not too long ago, so from time to time I'll still hop in a race car and do a race, but I just play it by ear.
All right, one more. No one's really mentioned the M5. What do you think about the E39 M5?
So classic, right? It's iconic. I can remember when we got to E39 M5s, and of course, about the same time we were getting our fleet of Z8s and had the same drivetrain in it. And, you know, I often think about that. And I remember, you know, we got the cars and we talk about the Z8 and the E39 M5, and we would say, it's got 400 horsepower. It's like 394, right? But we'd say, it's got 400 horsepower. And it just seemed like this big monster number, right? And it's, you know, back to that evolution that I just mentioned, you know, things keep changing. And now, you know, they say that the M8 competition has 617. We all know it's quite a bit more than that. But yeah, the car was good. The chassis was good. Love the car, still do to this day. I do remember going to Hockenheim, and we were going to be there training for a week. And one of the things we were going to do is to drive the new E60 M5 at Hockenheim for 5 days. And I remember flying over there, and I was talking to one of the other instructors, drivers, and you know, we had heard some really strong stuff about the E60 from the Germans, and we were like, how can it be that good? How can it be? And you know, I start out Hockenheim about a half lap into it. I'm going like, the Germans know what they're doing. And again, a lot of people would be like, well, you know, I much like the E39. I'm talking from a track standpoint, right? The E60 was a significant step up. But both cars are great. I remember quite often being at VIR and being up in the Crow's Nest up on the Patriot course and hearing those E60 M5s go down the back straight at VIR and hearing that beautiful V10. And, you know, you thought those cars were fast, and they were. And then, you know, you go to the next generation and they're faster and more capable. So, yeah.
All right, last question of the night, and then we'll start wrapping up. So someone wants to know, how do you get started working and doing instructing and or working for the brand?
So, you know, first of all, you need to have some experience in instructing. We typically, you know, we don't really bring anybody on board and say, okay, this is how you instruct. You know, there's certainly training that you'd go through after you're on board, but a strong driving background. Pretty much all of our people have raced and or racing. Ability to, you know, exhibit good car control, obviously, and very importantly, you know, there's some guys that, you know, people that sometimes you have a person that's really good in a sport, but they don't necessarily not a very good teacher, and vice versa. Sometimes they can be a teacher, but might not be, you know, have to be world champion, right, to teach it. So it takes a blend. You need some experience, some driving. Hopefully, maybe you've done some instruction with some of the clubs and things like that. It's a small industry, you know.
All right. So if everyone, if you guys check the chat for this call, you'll see I posted the link to the Bimmer Life article I referenced earlier, which has a short write-up on this event and our MX1 event and our M Chapter Day, as well as should have a link to how to register for that event. The event registration is scheduled to open tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. I am working on trying to get that open at 9 o'clock in a few minutes. So hopefully everyone who's attended and lasted this long will be able to sign up in the next few minutes once we get that open.
And keep in mind that we're going to give priority to M chapter members, right?
Correct. Yes. So, you know, for all of you guys who belong to another CCA chapter, you know, adding the M chapter to your portfolio would be a great thing to do, since, like Esteban said, we'll give preference to those guys. All you got to do is call the national office, add the M chapter as a secondary chapter. And we've had quite a few people who added the M chapter as their only chapter. So you can see that we offer very distinct benefits that some of the other chapters don't at this point. So we hope to see all of you guys at MX1 the whole weekend, and hopefully we're sharing the track with you guys at M Chapter Day.
So just so you guys know, you guys have 30 spaces, right? Because Paul and I are going to take one each. So you got 30 spaces available. And again, I want to close out. Mike, thanks for your time. I appreciate everything. And thank you for work in this partnership with us. We appreciate it. And we're looking forward to doing a lot of events with you guys at the Performance Center. I personally love it. I've been there probably 7 or 8 times. I go up there to visit family and friends up there, and I stop by because it's a great place, a lot of good vibes. And I'm really looking forward to this event in April.
Well, thank you, Esteban and Paul, for including me. And again, I really do look forward to it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. You know, maybe we'll even have to have an M chapter get together over at Hans and Franz, just down the road from the Performance Center. It's a very unique beer garden and very old building. I think people would enjoy. We'll do some fun things to you guys and to everybody listening. Just want to say stay safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to driving with all of you, hopefully, and seeing you soon.
Definitely. I'm down for that.
Thanks, Mike. One last note here. So it looks like maybe the what I posted in the chat may or may not work. So we will try to send out an email tonight. Actually, you can also search in Motorsport Reg for this event before we actually send the email out. I'm not sure how long it'll take for us to do that. But the registration is open. So hope to see you guys there.
Perfect. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.